Good afternoon, guys. Only 54 participants added so far. Okay. Now, what we learned so far, especially from the concept of interrupts. Concept of interrupt. Next, concept of interrupt service routine. What are the different types of interrupts? In the last class, we see what are the multiple interrupt sources and how to deal with multiple interrupts. Okay. That is the concept of entire interrupts. And next concept is DMA. What is the DMA stands for? DMA stands for direct memory access. DMA stands for direct memory access. What is the purpose of the direct memory access? Okay, direct memory access is the one intermediate. Okay, especially the concept of DMA is introduced to save the processor time. Okay, already you know the concept of interrupts. Okay, additionally introduced interrupts from multiple sources. Okay, may take processor time, but it is very crucial. Okay. Earlier, I explained with an example of classroom. Okay, for suppose a distant classroom teacher requires a chalk piece and duster from my class. Okay, how I programmed that process flow. Okay, and without asking direct chalk piece and duster from my class. Okay, and without any interruption. And because of that interruption process, it wastes some processor time. Okay, to avoid this problem, I'm directly intimate them to, okay, without interruption. Okay, you may take my chalk piece and duster for your purpose, and again, please keep it on its original place. Okay, okay, just rewind that example. Okay, that example is best suited for this DMA. Okay, this DMA is especially designed to reduce the processor, okay, processor time. Okay, save the processor time. Okay, the title itself indicates it is a direct memory access. Okay, when we come to the processor or controller, the processor, what is the key difference between processor and controller here again? Processor and controller. Processor, can anybody tell me the difference between processor and controller? Microprocessor and microcontroller. In the microprocessor having an external memory, whereas the microcontroller having inbuilt memory. That is the key difference. Okay, for suppose when I want to use the memory of that microprocessor or microcontroller, I must take the prior permission to use that memory. Okay, but when the processor is busy with their implementation of their own task, okay, I'm frequently asked them to can I use your memory? Okay, processor, at that time the processor temporarily halts that the execution of the program and answer me as okay, you can use that memory. Okay, and if I want to use that memory, okay, I want to take that address bus, data bus, control bus and other registers in case if necessary, all the system bus must hand over to me, okay, to transfer data. Okay, but that time elapse is wasted because of in the view of processor time. Okay, why? Because here further processing is not involved, but to take the prior permission and acknowledgements, it wastes some time. Okay, and simply to avoid the intervention of the processor, to avoid the intervention of processor, I'm using that DMA here. Okay, direct memory access. I'm accessing memory directly. Okay, see here the basic concept of DMA. Okay, what is the basic concept behind this DMA? DMA is the feature of a modern computer system that allows certain hardware subsystems to read or write data or data into or from memory. Okay, without microprocessor invention. That is the point. Just I told you now. Okay, the concept of DMA is especially introduced to save the processor time. Okay, and when I am using the processor time, and without using the DMA concept, I just have to interface with or uh, to store the data into the memory or data from the memory. Okay, frequently I send interrupts as a interrupt request and interrupt acknowledgement, just like the earlier process what I told in last 3 classes. Okay, but because of the introduction of this DMA, okay, processor need not, okay, processor may need not to involve, okay, while reading or writing the data from memory or into the memory, especially for memory. Okay, that's why this is called a direct memory access. Okay, directly access the memory without intervention of microprocessor or microcontroller. Okay, because of this direct access, okay, uh, we will indirectly save the processor time. Meanwhile, during this time, the processor to do many other works. Okay, that is the DMA. See here the second point, use in disk controllers, video or sound cards, etc, or between memory locations. Okay, and the concept of DMA. See here, just when we insert a disk, this scan disk, we are insert a disk in micro, actually mobiles. Okay, just you want to read the data from that memory card or write the data from phone to that SanDisk. SanDisk is the company, that memory card. Okay, actually further processing is not required. Okay, in that case I'm directly transfer the data from okay, from memory to that internal SanDisk directly. Okay, here no need of that DMA. Okay, no need of that processor, and processor time is not required there. Okay, the intervention of processor is also not required. Okay, there is the point here. Used in disk controllers or video or sound cards, etc, or between the memory locations. Okay, next point, typically the CPU initiates the DMA transfer, does other operations while the data transfer is in progress, and receives an interrupt from DMA controller once the operation is complete. Understand? In general, the CPU initiates the DMA transfer, okay, does other operations while the data transfer is in progress. Okay, or suppose data transfer from that external device to that memory, or memory to that external device. Okay, generally it receives an input from the DMA controller once the operation is complete. Okay, the completed data transfer is completed. Okay, why? Because the system bus, okay, the address bus, data bus, and control bus, okay, all those buses are handed over to that external device, okay, to transfer the data to the memory. Once when we directly use that system bus, okay, and transfer the data into the memory, okay, and once the transaction is completed, okay, then finally I have to hand over that system bus to the processor. Okay, that's why I have to intimate them. Okay, okay, transfer is completed. Okay, that's the point here. Okay, and it can create a cache coherency problem. Okay, and the data is in cache may different from that data in external memory after DMA. Okay, it is a quite different concept here. Okay, how to improve the processor performance by me? Okay, how to improve the processor performance? Processor performance, and how to improve the speed of the processor. How to improve the speed of the processor means using faster memories. Using faster memories. Okay, read time, write time. Okay, and when the external memory, when the memory is outside the processor, when the memory is outside the processor, okay, then it takes more time than when the processor is within the processor. Uh, within the processor. Within the processor is quite different from out of the microprocessor. Why out of the processor? Okay, what is the difference here? When the memory is available within the processor, that is on chip, then that is no need to go to a longer distances. Okay, for suppose the memory is outside, frequently it has to go outside. Okay, and fetch the address, or to identify the address or fetch the data from the external memory. Okay, it somewhat takes more time, okay, than on chip. That's why nowadays on chip system on chip SoC concept is very dominant in the field of VLSI. Okay, uh, okay, to avoid that problem, okay, instead of I am frequently fetching data from that external memory, okay, in between that external memory and processor, I'm using one small memory, which is okay, which is just I put in the processor. A small memory, just I am putting the processor, and called as a cache. Already I think concept of cache memory. Okay, what cache will do here? Okay, what are the frequently used data or instructions? What are the frequently used data or instructions? Okay, what are the frequently used data or instructions? Okay, that data or instructions that is frequently fetched from the external memory. Okay, that copy of those instructions are simply put into that cache. Okay, while executing the program, the processor need not to go to the until the external memory. Just it has to bring the same data from the cache also. Okay, that's why there is no need to go to longer distances. Okay, just it is fetch that data from cache memory. In that way, that cache improves the performance of the processor. Okay, see here, uh, that is the cache. For suppose while executing the program, okay, if the cache doesn't contains the data which is required by that processor, again it has to go, and first of all it checks that the required data, is it available in that cache or not. If not, okay, again it goes to the external memory, okay, and fetch that data or memory from the external memory, and put that one of the copy into the cache. Understand? Okay, okay, here they develop one concept called cache miss and cache hit. For suppose if the processor required data is available in that cache, okay, if the processor required data, okay, which is available in that cache only, okay, that is called cache hit. That is called cache hit. Okay, for suppose if the required data is not available in that cache memory, that is called a cache miss. Okay, from the two phenomenons, they develop one concept called uh, what is called cache hit ratio and miss ratio. catch hit ratio and miss ratio. Okay, and according to that, the processor performance is defined. Okay, okay, that is the concept of cache memory. Okay, see here, the last point here can create, and the basic DMU concept create cache coherency problems. And the data in the cache may be different from the data in a external memory after DMA. Okay, and generally one copy of data in external memory is just put into the cache memory in general. Okay, for suppose when the processor executes the program, the processor checks the required data in cache, but that data is quite different from whatever the data available in external memory. If these two are not matched, that is called coherency problems. Okay, cache coherency and cache non-coherence. Okay, this is called a cache coherency problem. Okay, and that the concept of DMA can create a cache coherency problems. Okay, understand what I am told you? Okay, that is the problem called cache coherency problem. Okay, see here, basic DMA terminology. What is the basic terminology behind this DMA? See here, uh, actually later the basic diagram of DMA is there. See here, what is the DMA channel? What is the purpose of channel here? Yeah, DMA channel. Channel is nothing but what is the purpose of the channel here? Everywhere. What is meant by channel? Channel is a pathway used the device to transfer data from one device to another device. Okay, and what is the basic path which is established between the external and the processor, external device and the processor? That is called a channel. Okay, and here the channel is the intermediate path between external memory and the processor. Okay, in general, the DMA having uh, okay, and actually 4 channel DMA, 8 channel DMA, 16 channel DMA, okay, different DMAs are existed. Okay, see here, DMA channel, the system pathway used by the device to transfer information directly into or from memory. Okay, there are usually 8 channel in a computer system. Okay, next DMA controller is a dedicated hardware which is controlling for DMA operation. Okay, there is a controller part. Okay, DMA is the direct memory access, that is one of the controller part. Okay, uh, and here the DMA channel and DMA controller is the only control system part of the DMA. Okay, entire not block diagram is the DMA controller part. Next, this is the modes of operation as a single cycle mode and burst mode. Two types are there. Single cycle mode. Single cycle mode means transfer data in byte by byte. Okay, byte by byte, first byte, second byte, third byte. Okay, in the systematic way, for each cycle it transfers 1 byte of data. That is called a single cycle mode. And next one is the burst mode. Burst mode means bunch of data is directly put into that system bus, and that is the data bus. Okay, and that is the same is carried by that processor and put it in that memory. That is called a burst mode. Okay, and when we deals with an all data, that is called burst mode, and when we deals with only 1 byte of data, that is called a single cycle mode. Understand? That's the basic DMA terminology. See here, single cycle mode. Okay, for example, okay, here they considered with an example of 8086. Okay, and what may be the processor? Is it 8085 or 8086? What may be the processor? What may be the processor? Each processor having two signals. They must having two signals as request signal and acknowledgement signal. Okay, request signal is the outgoing signal from the processor, and acknowledgement signal is the incoming signal into the processor. Okay, two control signals are there. Okay, here especially when we deal with an DMA, These two signals are treated as hold and HLDA. Okay, they are permanent. Hold, HOLD, hold signal. That hold signal is the outgoing signal as treated as request signal, and incoming signal is the HLDA signal, that is hold acknowledgement. And in response to that request, called hold, okay, that DMA responds with acknowledgement called HLDA, hold acknowledgement. That's why that is called HLDA, hold acknowledgement signal. Okay, these two are the dedicated signals of any processor or controller when we deal with an DMA. Remember, hold and HLDA, especially dedicated pins. Okay, especially the dedicated pins for any processor or controller. See here, x86 interrupt pins, in this sense 8086 interrupt pins. Okay, it stands for. See here, hold, HOLD, hold is the DMA request signal from microprocessor. Okay, at the same time, the same concept may be frequently asked in competitive examination as hold and HLDA signals are the input signals or output signals in the view of microprocessor and in the view of DMA. In the view of microprocessor, hold signal is the request signal. Okay, and HLDA is the acknowledgement signal. In the view of DMA, hold is the input signal. Okay, which came from microprocessor into the DMA, and DMA and HLDA is the output signal. Okay, in the view of DMA. Okay, and input in the view of microprocessor. Understand? Yeah, that is also frequently asked competitive bit in a competitive bit. Okay, so DMA pins and timings. See here, timing signals, clock signal. Okay, okay, here they considered with an practical clock signal, and that is indicated with an slope. Okay, hold signal, and from second cycle onwards, that is enabled. Okay, and HLDA signal. Okay, and after the detection of two clocks, okay, two or three clocks. Okay, after detecting the DMA, after detecting two or three clock signals of that hold signal. Okay, later, and from a fourth cycle onwards, it responds with acknowledgement. Okay, remember that point. Okay, if hold signal is detected by that DMA, in response to that hold signal, it responds with an HLDA. Okay, after detection of the hold signal. Okay, that is the timing signal here. Understand? Okay, observe this point here. Okay, this is the hold response of the HLDA. HLDA as acknowledgement signal from DMA. See here, this is the complete operation of, okay, this is the complete operation of the DMA in the view of 8086 microprocessor. Okay, it's very simple. Okay, and the DMA, and whenever one external device is connected. Okay, see here, I will tell you with an example as, see here. Okay, see here, for suppose For suppose this is the microprocessor, this is an external IO device, and this is the DMA here. Understand? This is microprocessor, this is DMA, this is external IO. Understand? Microprocessor, DMA, and external IO. See here, the communication is like this. Okay. See here, that microprocessor sends signal called hold, HOLD. That is the point here. This is called acknowledgement. Okay. Similarly, here also having communication, hold, request signal and grant signal. Okay. Okay, to transfer data directly. See here, no need of this. Okay. Okay. See here, the IO device assets the data request signal from the channel. See here, this is an external IO device. Okay, if it sends, okay, this is the point here. Okay, when this external IO device assets the appropriate data requests, for suppose this is the data request here. Okay, when it assets the data request signal for the channel, the DMA control will enable the appropriate channel, and it's having 8 channels. Okay, I will show you the diagram also. Okay, and ask the CPU to release the bus to the DMA, may use the bus. And okay, and whenever this external IO device requests DMA, okay, and a DMA channel, okay, then what DMA asks to that microprocessor? The DMA controller will enable the appropriate channel and ask the CPU, can you release your system bus? Okay. Can you release your system bus? Okay. Just I want to transfer the data to the memory. Okay. And ask the CPU to release the bus to the DMA. Okay. May use the bus. The DMA requires the bus by asserting. Okay. How it will ask? The DMA requests the bus by asserting a hold signal which goes to the CPU. Okay. ఎలా చేస్తున్నది? Hold signal పంపిస్తుంది. Okay. The CPU detects that hold signal. The CPU holds that hold signal, and it will completely executing of the current instruction. Now all of the signals are normally generated by the CPU and are placed in a tri-state condition. Okay, by default all the states are in tri-state, high impedance state, and in between I and O, I mean input and output. Okay, and maybe the third state is neither input or output. Okay, and in between high or low. Okay, and then CPU assets that HLDA signal. Okay, CPU assets that HLDA signal which tells that DMA controller that okay, it is now in the charge of the bus. Okay. Okay, upon the requesting, the CPU may have to wait hold cycles. Okay, DMA activates maybe memory read or memory write or IO read or IO write output signals, and depending upon the request. When we dealt with an IO devices, then IO read or IO write signals are activated. When it deals with direct memory, that then it holds, I mean, it operates with memory read or memory write, MEMR and MEMW. Okay, from the DMA or set to the target address, okay, which will be used by the direct byte that is about transfer to the specific memory location. Okay, next the DMA will then let the device request it to the DMA transfer. Now that the transfer is commencing by asserting a DACK signal. Okay, when we deal with an external device. Okay, this is called DACK signal, is nothing but data acknowledgement or DMA acknowledgement. Okay, and when it deals with an external IO device, okay, when deals with an microprocessor point of view, that is the hold acknowledgement signal. Understand? Once the data has been transferred, the DMA will be reasserted that data acknowledgement to signal, so that FDC knows that maybe stop by placing data on the bus. Okay. Okay. And furtherly, it is no need to transfer the data. Okay. That is indicated by using that FDC. Okay. See here. Next point, the DMA will know, check to see if any of the other DMA channels have any work to do. Or even 8 channels ఉన్నాయి కదా, ఆ 8 channels లో ఇంకా రిమైనింగ్ ఛానల్స్ లో ఏమైనా డేటా ఉందో అది చెక్ చేసుకోవాలి కదా. If none of the channels have their data request lines asserted, okay, and if we see the block diagram, then it is very interesting and easily understand with the diagram. Okay, then DMA controller has completed the work and will now is again tri-stated and to reduce the power consumption. Okay, tri-state of the memory read or memory write or IO read and address signals. Okay, finally the DMA will deassert that whole signal. Okay, the CPU sees this and it deasserts the HLDA signal. Okay, and a hold awesome leదంటే there is no need of the HLDA signal also. Okay, that's why that is a hold acknowledgement as a HLDA signal. Now the CPU resumes the control of the buses and address lines, and it resumes the executing and wherever that processor halts with the instruction, currently executing instruction, again it is resumed with that instruction and accessing the main memory and the peripherals. Okay. Okay, that is the complete operation of DMA. See here, it is the example. Assume that DMA initialization has been okay. DMA initialization has an overhead of 10 cycles. Assume that DMA initialization has an overhead of 10 cycles, and additionally it takes as 10 cycles, while the CPU transfers to or from memory requires 4 cycles. Okay, no wait states are required. Compare, okay, 4 cycles. Compare DMA and CPU transfer from one memory location to another. One memory location to another memory location. Okay, for 1 byte of data, one block of 1 kilobyte of burst mode, one block of 64 kilobytes of burst mode, and actually single cycle mode and burst mode. Actually 2 modes are there. Okay. Okay, that is represented here. Okay, actually you have to draw that cycles. Okay, timing diagram there. Okay, we'll discuss later that okay point. The 8237 DMA controller. Okay, what is meant by 8237? 8237 or 8257 is the DMA controller. 8237 or 8257 is the DMA controller, especially developed to access intermediate for external IO devices and processor to transfer data from memory to memory or external IO device to memory or memory to IO devices. See here, supplies memory and IO with control signals and address during the DMA transfer. Okay, it is the 4-channel expandable and 8237. Okay, they discuss about here. They discuss about 8237 4 channels expandable. These 4 channels as 0 to 3 as 0 for DRAM refresh, 1 for free, 2 for floppy disk controller, and 3 for third one is also free. Okay, here 1.6 megabytes per second. Okay, actually this is the data rate. Okay, 1.6 megabytes per second transfer rate, and these are all the specifications of the T8237. Understand? Just 1.6 MB. Okay, megabytes per second, Mbps. 1.6 Mbps transfer rate, 64 kilobytes of section of memory address, capability of single programming, and for single programming they assigned 64 KB. Okay, flyby controller. Okay, data does not pass through the DMA, only memory to IO capability. Okay, flyby, and especially without intervention here. Initialization involves writing into each channel as the address of the first byte. Okay, the address of the first byte of the block of data that must be transferred. And actually నేను ఏదైతే ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ చేద్దాం అనుకుంటున్నానో దాని యాక్చువల్ ఫస్ట్ బైట్ అడ్రస్ మెన్షన్ చేయాలి. ఓకే, అంటే అడ్రస్ నుంచి వర్కౌట్ చేసుకుంటుంది. నెక్స్ట్, ఓకే, నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ బైట్స్ టు బి ట్రాన్స్ఫర్డ్. Okay, number of bytes to be transferred. Just I have to mention that word count. Okay, how many words I have to transfer. Understand? See here the 8237 DMA. Okay, this is the 8237 DMA application. See here, this is called a processor controller. Here 80C88, that is the 8088. Okay, 8088. See here, this is called DMA. Okay, this is called DMA. Okay, 82C37. Okay, in practical the notation is always the 82C37 or 82S K37 or 82F37. This here this character represents the type of application it is suitable. Okay, okay, and this is for laboratory applications. Okay, C stands for. Okay, okay, this is the 8237, this is the 8237, and this is the 8088, and this is then external IO device. External IO device. This is the external memory of this processor. This is the processor, you know, this is the microprocessor. That's why the external memory is external. Okay, for suppose this is the microcontroller, this memory is available within the processor only, then it is said to be a microcontroller. That is the key difference. Okay, already you know. Okay, this is the microprocessor, and this is the 8237. This is the external IO device, external memory. This is called external IO device. Okay, what are the controls? See here, 8237A having clock, chip select, address strobe, okay, address enable, address and data. Okay, 8-bit address and data bus. Okay, see here, data request from the IO device, data request and data acknowledgement, data request and data acknowledgement. Here hold request, HRQ, hold request and hold acknowledgement. Okay, see here, this is the memory write and this is the memory read. This is called IO write and this is called IO read. These are the control signals. These are the control signals for 8237. Okay, to read data from memory, I am using memory read and memory write. When I'm using when I want to take or deal with an IO device, just I am using IO read and IO write. IO read and IO write, memory read and memory write. HRQ is the hold request signal and HLDA is the hold acknowledgement signal. Okay. And DREQ means data request. Okay, the data request control available in 8237, DREQ0 and DSEK. Okay, I hope you know. Okay, this is the enable signal here. Okay, And already I told you what are the controls available in the microprocessor 8086 and 8088, especially in the 8086. Basically, 8086 is the multiprocessor. It is able to operate with minimum and maximum modes. Under the minimum mode, we represent that HLD and hold signals. Okay, and these are the memory controls. These are the memory controls, and these are the that control signal generation. They are control signal generation as memory read, memory write, IO read, and IO write. Okay. See here, 8237 registers, available registers. See here, CR is the current address register, CWR current word count register. Okay, already I told you, 1 byte to, okay, first byte, second byte, third byte. That is the one type of data transfer, and another one is single byte mode. Okay, and BA is the base address, CR is the command register. Okay, and these are the 4 general purpose registers available. Of course, alternate, see here, command words, mode register. Okay, this is called command word formats. Command word formats. See here, this is the command word. That command word contains the selections of current address register. Okay, and current address register is the register. What is the purpose of the register? Register is the group of flip flops that is used to hold some data. Here, that's some data is the address. That's why that is called current address register. It holds okay 16-bit current address. Okay, see here, holds the 16-bit memory address used for the DMA transfer. Okay, either incremented or decremented during the operation. Okay, then sequence of memory locations గా మనం యూజ్ చేసేది. CWCR is a current word count register. What is the purpose of word count register? Just it is and how much data is transferred, okay, in the word count. Okay, see here, programs a channel for the number of bytes. Okay, programs a channel for the number of bytes up to 64 kilobytes transferred during the DMA operation. Okay, and next one is the base address. Base address and word count used when non auto initialization is selected. Okay, it is used when auto initialization is selected for a channel. Next, command register, programs of operation of the controller. Command register purpose ante programs the operation of the controller, em cheyali ela cheyali. Okay, and next one is the mode register. Okay, already you know what are the different modes available in the data transfer. Okay, see here, mode register programs the mode of operation. And which mode is it? Single byte mode or burst mode? Okay, in which mode it has to be transfer data. Okay, and next one is the request register. What is the purpose of the request register? That request register is used to request DMA transfer via software, memory to memory transfer. Okay, alage mask register. Next one is the status register. Okay, next operation and equivalent commands. Okay, binary notation of that commands is for each register. Okay, so time is not sufficient, so I will continue from the 13th slide from tomorrow class. Okay, so that's all for today. Okay, what we learned from that 12 slides. DMA stands for direct memory access, which is used to avoid the additional intervention of that processor. Okay, that is, DMA is always an intermediate device which lies in between external IO device and memory, or memory to, and it transfers data from memory to memory or external IO device to memory. of that microprocessor or microcontroller upon using that DMA. Okay, the processor time saves. Okay, and what are the different channels? Okay, by default 8 channel DMAs are available. Okay, that DMA uses data request and data acknowledgement signal. That microprocessor or microcontroller uses the hold request and hold acknowledgement signals. Okay, in general 8237 or 8257 series is used for this DMA operation. Okay, and what are the different registers available for the DMA is also seen in the previous slides. Okay, that's all for today's class. I will continue in the next class. Okay, thank you everybody.